This is the voice of the New York Football Giants, Bob Papa, and you are listening to the best throughout Europe, the Big Blue UK and Ireland podcast.
Welcome back, Giants fans, to the latest edition of the Big Blue UK and Ireland podcast. As always, we are proudly in association with Annie's Man Club. Lads, remember, it is okay to talk. And tonight, we are 67% British, 33% Irish. But as always, we're still 100% Giants. And we're now only 4 short weeks away from the draft. And we're carrying on our breakdown of the boys' top 5 at each position with edge and defensive tackle up tonight. We'll also bring you the latest news, and also we might have a little mock draft for you at the end as well, so stay tuned for that if you want to see us get mocky. Joining me tonight is Shane and Kev. Who can believe we're only a month away from the big night at the end of April, boys? How are we doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Once again, it's a little bit of the OG3, so to speak. But you know, yeah, looking forward to sort of talking a little bit of defense this week. Obviously, I was devastated to miss out on the offensive line talk last week. You know, Mayo tried his best to rearrange it and make me feel included to it, but unfortunately, we just couldn't agree terms really. So we had to, you know, agree to disagree. And you know, I listened to the offensive line chatter last week, so looking forward to getting into some defensive stuff tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Can't really start talking about some defensive players, but can't believe you actually managed to dodge the offensive line talk shit. I mean, talking about Manning.
We can rewind. It's fine.
I was going to say, like, I think he must have done the schedule for us for last week, I think, so sort of right. But yeah, it's good to have the OGs back on again tonight. Draft talk is in full swing. I mean, we've got pro days. We've seen like John Harbaugh at Ohio State's pro day today. We had Notre Dame's pro day yesterday. Into the thick and the fast of it now. So it's definitely starting to ramp up, and it's getting exciting.
Yeah, man, like I said, 4 weeks, and that 4 weeks is going to fly by. And there's so much to go through between now and then. You know, obviously we're just starting really to scrape into top fives, and you know we've still got 2-3 more episodes to go before draft week, and we'll be covering obviously the rest of the positions in the lead up to it. But yeah, it's good to get onto the defensive side. You know, me and Shane love a bit of defense, as do you, Kev. We know you do as well. And you know, there's maybe a big, not necessarily a big hole to fill, but we definitely need some depth on that defensive line. So, you know, what better place to look than in the draft, right? Because we picked up a guy in the draft last year that, you know, could potentially be at this stage, you know, one of the outstanding edge rushers in this league. You know, give it a few years, and we've picked up players like Kayvon Thibodeau in recent years as well. So it's always been a position of interest for us. So yeah, looking forward to getting into the top 5 tonight. See who's on them on your guys' boards, and yeah, go on, Shane.
Just to add, that's a warning.
Holty,
love it, Holty.
Come on, my boy. What are you doing, my friend?
Oh, he's poking the bear early. I love it.
He is absolutely poking the bear early. No more drafting O-line talk at number 5, please. If we do, you know, 3 strikes and you're out, you might be booted out. But no, like, I'm looking forward to getting into defense tonight. And yeah, the run up to the draft this time of year is always exciting. It's always, you know, especially the fact we've got pick number 5, you know, so we could be in for one of the best players in this year's draft. So lots to look forward to. If you are watching live on YouTube X or any other platform, get involved in the comments. Send us your questions, your thoughts on the free agency moves we made so far, the off-season we had so far, and also look at who you like on the defensive line as well, what defensive tackles and what edge players you like. Not necessarily to pick at 5, but you know, to pick later on in the draft as well. And don't forget to like the episode, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already, and if you know, for audio listeners, leave us a nice review on your podcast platform of choice. Just like our first pick in the draft, we want it to be 5 stars. And you can also now buy us a coffee or a beer or a can of pop, whichever you fancy. Head over to buymeacoffee.com/Big Blue UK Ireland to buy us a drink. You know, we might even be meeting up for the draft, so you can buy us a drink for draft night. That'd be really sweet. You can also find the link down in the description for that too. And we are getting ever closer to 500 subscribers on YouTube. So if you can spread the word and share the love about our tiny little podcast we do here, and spread us amongst your friends and recommend us to people that are Giants fans. Again, we appreciate the love that everyone has for us. So, who was that? No, I thought someone was going to say something. Yeah, we appreciate the love that we get. So yeah, spread it a bit more and show us some love. Starting off this week, as per usual, with the news. First up, running back Cam Scatterby made headlines this week, but maybe for the wrong reasons. During an interview with College Transfer Portal, he gave a pretty controversial answer when asked about CTE being a real thing. His answer he gave, no, it's an excuse. I mean, that's a bold statement there, Cam. And he also went on to say asthma's an excuse too, stating they just literally need to breathe air. I think for those that do have asthma, it's not as easy as that, just breathing air, So yeah, two pretty bold statements he made there. He then later went on to redact those comments in a post on X. He said he recently did an interview and had a lapse in judgment, which resulted in making a tasteless joke about CTE and asthma. It was never my intention to downplay the seriousness of head injuries or asthma. I sincerely apologise to anyone that was offended by my remarks, and I assure you that I'll be more mindful and respectful going forward. Kev, what do you make of those comments? It's a bit controversial, right?
Very much so. I mean, we all know about the dangers of sort of head collisions, concussions, and CTE in retired football players. So I think it was just an ill-tasted joke, and I do believe it was a joke. But if you watch that clip in isolation and sort of like thinking what Cam Scatterby's character is like or sort of personality, you could kind of be mistaken to thinking he was serious. Now, I wish he'd kind of given a little look to the camera or a wry smile or something just to, give that confirmation that this is a bit of a joke. But I just think, it's not a massive deal because obviously he didn't mean it. But it's just something like, just be a little bit smarter with your comments and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think so. Shane, do you think he'll face any sort of like repercussions or any consequences from the team about the comments, or do you think I would say to him, just don't do interviews, mate?
I've got to be careful what I say here, because to me, it just feels like it's further proof that people get offended over everything. He didn't genuinely mean it. I think it was even maybe his sister that come out and said, like, the amount of times he used to run into the house to his mum to grab his inhaler when he was playing football himself. I can't remember if it was his sister or his mum that said that.
Yeah.
But I just think he said something. Yeah, I don't think he meant any malice or genuine comments in regards to it. I think he was just kind of a bit of dry sense of humour. And if you don't know how to read dry sense of humour, then you're either going to take it one or two ways, and it's the way a lot of people took it, that was getting offended. Maybe we don't see Cam Scatterby in an interview for a while, and we probably more than likely won't get him on here anytime soon.
No, probably not, because we don't want him dropping any controversial comments on here. But Darren, like I said, he's got a habit of saying really dumb shit. He has. I mean, he's got a habit of smashing helmets with other players as well. So maybe he's we've always said maybe he's a CTE waiting to happen. And it's, I mean, you got the comments for me, like they were very tongue in cheek, and they were very sort of like he's not being serious, right? But all it takes is one person to take it the wrong way, and I think especially with head injuries being such a massive thing in the league now, I think you just got to be really careful. Like, even if you are joking, like, just don't open yourself up to these sorts of questions or these sorts of like controversial comments, because I think it's just going to make you, have to apologize and put a statement out there, and it's going to make you look a bit stupid. So, yeah, I think just maybe lay off with the stupid comments and questions in future. I think it's probably the Giants media team will probably have a word with him and just remind him that he's representing the organisation and not to do things like that again. Okay, moving on. Cleveland Browns defensive tackle Shelby Harris was rumored to visit with the Giants yesterday, according to the league's transaction wire, and then obviously it was reported by various beat writers and sources on X. He's come off a solid season in Cleveland, where he played in all 17 games, and heading into his 12th year in the league this year. His run defensive grade of 64.4, according to PFF last year, ranked him at 28th overall out of 134 interior defensive linemen. And his overall grade of 61.9 put him at 52nd best, again out of 134. So pretty much mid-range overall, and in the upper 20% of no more than that, like higher than that, upper sort of 15%, I suppose, of all defensive linemen across the league in terms of run defensive grade. So I think he'd be a really good depth option behind Dex in the middle. So kind of watch this space for him, really. I think he could be a nice little addition. Obviously, we're looking at defensive tackles tonight in the draft, so we could add some real depth to our defensive line if we sign him. Not a bad option, I don't think. Also, it's reported recently that Odell Beckham Jr. has spoken with coach John Harbaugh. His time in Baltimore ended pretty well between the two, and there have been multiple rumours that the Giants could be looking to bring him in as a veteran option at wide receiver. He hasn't played in the league since 2024, so could be a little bit of a risky option. Shane, should we sign him?
I think it depends on what you do in the draft, to be honest with you. And I think part of it also depends on what the Giants' plan is in regards to how they're going to utilise Isaiah Likely this coming season. Because you kind of get the impression maybe he's coming in as a bit of a tight end, one-stroke wide receiver two for the Giants. So it kind of depends, like I say, what the Giants are doing in the draft if they address wide receiver position, and also how they plan on utilising it. I think it's a little bit of a love story in regards to the Giants fans wanting it rather than it being, just he started his career here. It'd be nice for him to end his career here. But we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, Kev, I was going to say, do you think it would be like a purely nostalgic signing to get him back in blue, or do you think he can actually still produce?
I think it's definitely a bit of nostalgia and a bit of, for me, I'm a hopeless romantic. I would love to see the him go full arc. He never wanted to leave the Giants in the first place. Could he come back and be a productive player on one more year? I think they could scheme up some plays for him. In short yardage downs, if you're like 3rd and 4, something like that, and you want to pass the ball instead of run, I believe he's still got great hands. So as long as you get the ball to his hands, I think he'll be able to do a job and catch those critical balls. We've been let down with a bit of drops for the last couple of seasons with Theo Johnson and Slayton. Pair of reliable hands could benefit. But I think Sheehan's 100% right in it, and I hadn't really thought of it. He hits the nail on the head there. If we go and I don't believe it'll happen before the draft. I thought it might, but with what Sheehan just said, if we go wide receiver round 1 or round 2, then it's a non-starter for me. But if the best players on the board, and we take a linebacker and a guard, say, for example, then you could look at post-draft bringing them in sort of as not a camp body, but definitely bringing him in and seeing what he's got and sort of giving him a very, very cheap contract, vet minimum type thing, and see if he has got a little bit of gas left in the tank.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, like you said, Kev, his hands have always been pretty good. He might have just lost that sort of half a step in terms of his speed and his burst, obviously with his multiple knee injuries. But yeah, Kieran, he would make more of a contribution than Jalen Hyatt. Although, could we see I would say a sort of resurgence of Jalen Hyatt this year, but it's not really a resurgence, an appearance of Jalen Hyatt this season with the new offense. So it remains to be seen, I suppose. But
everyone's getting a clean slate, though, Dan.
Absolutely, exactly that. But being a Man United fan, obviously, when Cristiano Ronaldo came back, it was like, he's come back home. I love it, and it's just the nostalgia and it just made it feel so good. And I think having Odell Beckham potentially come back for a year will be the same sort of feeling.
Dust off those Beckham jerseys.
That's it, mate. Give us all one more chance to wear them. Whether he'd wear 13 on, that's another question. But yeah, it'd be I think it'll be quite sweet. But listen, there's obviously going to be a lot that happens between now and potentially him signing. I'd be very surprised if it happens before the draft. So if it does happen at all, so watch this space with him. I suppose could be a little bit sort of out there for me. Looking at the latest free agent signings, then. So obviously we're talking about depth on the defensive line. So we've signed defensive tackle Sam Roberts. He was drafted in the 6th round in 2022 by the New England Patriots. Since then, he's played for them, the Carolina Panthers, and the Atlanta Falcons. Age 27, turning 28 next month, so we'll be 28 when the season starts. 6'5", 300-pound guy, so decent size, pretty big. What we need in the middle of the defense. It's played in 20 games, got 26 sacks, 26 tackles, 1 sack, and 2 quarterback hits. Last season with the Falcons, he played 5 games before going on injury reserve with ankle and knee injury. Logged 102 defensive snaps with 74 of those at nose tackle, and he recorded his first career sack, which is obviously a good sign for him. With Nacho and DJ Davidson hitting free agency, we needed defensive line depth, so picking him up is a low risk signing with potential rotational value, and he was playing his best football as well before his injury. So hopefully his rehab from his injury is good, and he can sort of pick up where he left off with Atlanta. We also signed linebacker Cam Jones, originally undrafted and signed by the Kansas City Chiefs in 2023. He played every game for 2 seasons with Kansas City, but mostly on special teams. 6'2", 227-pound linebacker. Again, not a bad size. He was claimed by the Jets in 2024 and appeared in 10 games for them. Logged 62% of Jets special team snaps before going on injury reserve. Played 165 defensive snaps and 737 special teams as well. Giants starting linebackers of Tremaine Edmonds and Micah McFadden. Before this move, Darius Musa was the only true backup inside linebacker, so it brings a little bit more depth in terms of inside linebacker behind the starters, and also reliable special teams value as well. We all know how much Coach Harbaugh loves his special teams. And lastly, so is it lastly? Yeah, lastly, we finally signed a long snapper, so we've got a replacement for Casey Kreiter. We signed Zach Triner. I hope I'm saying his name right. Been in the league since 2019. Appeared in 85 career games. Multiple teams in that time with Tampa Bay for 5.5 years, the Dolphins for 3 games in 2024, and also the Commanders with 1 game in 2025. He's also spent time with the Denver Broncos and the Atlanta Falcons as well. He was waived by the Buccaneers in 2024 and had brief stints in Miami, Washington, Denver, and Atlanta since then. And he's only appeared in 1 game. And obviously with the Giants special teams overhaul complete now, we've got our what looks to be our special teams unit for the year. So obviously Jordan Stout replacing Jamie Gillen at punter. We've got the kicker battle in camp with Jason Sanders against Ben Sauls. I think, let's face it, Jason Sanders is probably going to win that, right? And so we've got the sort of full rebuild of the kicking operation and the special teams as a whole. So obviously trying to replace long snapper Casey Kreiter, who's now with the Cardinals. So the special teams had a bit of an overhaul in this offseason. And I think, there's been minimal impact from special teams over the last couple of years. So I think it was much needed and time for a change across the board, really. So again, with Coach Harbaugh being a special team specialist, it's not surprising that he's looked to strengthen in this area, and obviously bringing in special team guys like Cam Jones. It makes sense that we're looking towards special teams and looking to add strength to them as well. So yeah, it's all coming together quite nicely in terms of free agency. And like I said, with 4 weeks until the draft, it's only going to get more exciting. And whether we pick up any more free agents or not is probably remains to be seen. But I think we've probably done most of our we made most of our moves within free agency now. I think there might be maybe 1 or 2 more, but any more moves that come our way, we'll obviously bring you the latest on our X page, and also potentially might see a few more shorts going out on YouTube to announce any more signings. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the news. The news is done and dusted. It's time for the main event. It's time for me to sit back, relax, and enjoy and learn all about the defensive linemen and edge players coming out of college this year. Shane and Kev and Aaron have compiled the top 5 prospects at both edge and defensive tackle. So, boys, I'll hand it over to you. Who have you got in your top 5s and why?
Kev, do you want defensive tackle or edge first?
We'll go with the big boys.
Okay, so here is myself, Kev's, and Mayo's top 5s at defensive tackle, and I'll read them all out. So, myself, I've got Peter Woods at 1 out of Clemson, Caden McDonald from Ohio State at 2, Caleb Banks, Florida at 3, Christian Miller from Georgia at 4, and Lee Hunter at 5. Kevin Mayo also have Lee Hunter at the number 5 position. We've all got different 1 through to 4 though. Kev's got Christian Miller, Georgia at 1. Peter Woods is number 2 for him. Caden McDonald is 3. Caleb Banks is 4. Whereas Mayo has Caden McDonald at 1, Caleb Banks at 2, Christian Miller at 3, and Peter Woods at 4. So those Eagle listeners, so to speak, you'll realise that every single player we've all got exactly the same player, just a slightly different order apart from that number 5 guy. Kev, where do you want to delve into first? What player do you want to speak about, and then we can talk about where that player sits in the chart. And for those watching, I'll be bringing the top 5 up sporadically through this conversation.
I think it definitely goes to show, because I find this quite difficult about who to put where, and I've got the top guys so close. And I had Peter Woods number 1. I mean, we might as well start there. I had Peter Woods number 1 for a long time until I watched Christian Miller's tape recently. But speaking about Peter Woods, I mean, he's a young player. He's 21, 6'2", 298 pounds. Last season, he had 15 pressures, 3 sacks, 21 stops. Missed tackle rate was a little bit high at 18.2%. He played 51 snaps at nose tackle and 429 snaps at the 3 technique defensive tackle. He's just got really good. He's really fluid. He's got really good explosiveness for his size. He's actually capable of playing all across the line, a little bit of edge and inside. I think it was on Bruce Feldman's 2025 freaks list as well for his elite speed and power combination. He's really light-footed. Like I said, he's quick. He's got violent hands. He's got a long, strong leg drive, high motor. Like I said, he's very versatile. He can play from nose tackle all the way out to wide 9. He was a team captain last year, which I always like to make note of if he's been a team captain as well. I think like a bit of a knock on him. I mean, that missed tackle rate is a little bit high for me. His injury history as well, leg injuries all the way back to high school and in college. The arm length things comes up, doesn't it, as well? People say about the arm length, you know. And I think, but yeah, I mean, like I say, he's a very, very good player. And I kind of had him number 1 for ages until I watched Miller recently. But I still think he's a very high, he will be a very high draft pick and definitely a first rounder for me. What are your thoughts on him?
To be fair, this defensive tackle class really frustrates me because nobody's just grabbed that number 1 position by the balls and made it their own. You know, there's a reason why 3 of us have done a ranking and all 3 of us have got a different number 1. But for me, I mean, you look at Peter Woods, he went into the collegiate season about 12 months ago, being touted as a top 10 player. You know, this was a guy who initially I was thinking, if the Giants have a top 10 pick, taking Peter Woods to pair with Dexter Lawrence could be a deadly duo. Like, but then, I mean, this Clemson defense in general just didn't really kick on the way that probably should have. I mean, there's a couple of other guys that we'll probably talk about in later episodes, such as Terrell and TJ Parker. This Clemson defense just really let themselves down, and you know, Peter Woods didn't really do himself any favors. Like I say, he was the number 1 defensive tackle going into the season. and he just didn't really kind of produce the way that you expected him to. And like I said, I don't know if some of that was due to injuries, but for me, the reason why he's at number one for me personally is what he did the 2 or 3 years prior. You know, for me, when it come down to this, like I say, this position, no one really took it by its horns. I'd say, okay, what's the knock on all these? Some players just didn't perform in the last year. Some players have had injury issues, and for me, I was just like, you know what? I'll give Peter Woods the benefit of the doubt. The tape previous to this year does not lie to what you see. I mean, you know, in 2023, didn't get any sacks, but, you know, he pressured the quarterback. He had 2 hits, 18 hurries. The year after, 13 hurries, 4 hits, 3 sacks, a 10.1% run stop rate, which is pretty high at the college level. So for me, that's why I decided to put him at number one. I was like, you know, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt of having a lackluster year. The 2 years prior, the tape was phenomenal. And that's
just to add quickly, like, again, you hit me on the head there. All the Clemson players had a down year this year. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so many, TJ Parker, their running back, Blake Miller, I thought had a solid year this year. But, you know, he was touted to be even higher. But I think, like, Clemson, for whatever reason there, they've got such good players, but the whole team sort of didn't perform as they should have this season.
Yeah, definitely. Like I mean, Miles got Peter Woods down at 4. I mean, I did say to Miles, how much did you struggle with his top 5? And he says the 5 were pretty easy, but the order of them was what was difficult. I mean, you've got Christian Miller at 1. Miles got him at 3.5. Got him at 4. Kind of what was it that made him have number 1 for you? Because for me, I think it was just that kind of lack of experience, so to speak. I think when you his stat, he didn't really do much. He was the opposite of Peter Woods for me. He didn't do anything prior to this year. He played plenty of games, but Colin didn't really get much pressure on that quarterback.
Yeah, he was one of the ones, like, when you sort of make the list and you go through, like, you know, the initial players, who am I going to watch? And you make a list of players who you want to go down and watch. And he was further down for me, to be fair. Like I said, Peter Woods was top of that list. And because obviously looking at his stats, I think, like, what do he have? Like 19 pressures, no sacks, only 15 stops, 19.5, 19.5% missed tackle rate. So those stats aren't great. and you would think to yourself, why is he number 1? But I mean, like, for me, watching him, he did all the dirty work. He was the one that took on the double blocks. He like I said, he's got violent, heavy hands. I thought he had a very explosive first step. He's a good athlete. For his size, his change direction was really good for his size. He's got good length, quick hands. I think he's strong enough to plug multiple gaps. He's a really good run defender. High motor, he consistently goes, and he can play between that nose tackle and sort of defensive tackle. And I think someone like him would be really good to plug next to Sexy Dexy and, you know, sort of like do the dirty work and free him up a little bit more. So I mean, like, just watching him, he's sort of like you're watching everyone else around him make plays, but you see people making plays because he's doing the dirty work in the middle. That sort of came up on tape the more I watched him. And also, I will say as well, like, a lot of times when I watch and I fully admit my bias as a Giants fans, if I see players' skill sets that help the Giants, I kind of move them up a little bit in my rankings as well. So I will admit that now.
And then we'll look at Mayo's number 1 guy, Caden McDonald. I had him at number 2, and he was at 3 for yourself. I mean, the reason for me, again, he was another one who this past season, he didn't really kind of take that defensive tackle 1 position and try and make it himself in terms of the college players rather than at Ohio State. I mean, the 2 years prior, he's kind of the opposite of Peter Woods. 2 years prior, he didn't really do much. I mean, 2023, no sacks, no hits, no hurries. 2024, no sacks, no hits, 3 hurries. And then this past year, we had 2 sacks, 0 hits, and 12 hurries. But he had a higher run stop rate. And I think that's kind of where he excels, his run stopping game. I mean, you look at his measurables, he's 6'2", 326 pounds, 32 and a quarter arms. For me, he had a good year this past year, but again, it was the opposite of Peter Woods, where he just wasn't on the tape for the previous years.
Yeah, I think me, for him, I think you look at the missed tackle rate, and the other 2 were 18 and 19. and he was 3.3. So he was like plugging up those gaps and making the tackles when he needed to make the tackles. I mean, he was first team All American last year and all big first team All Big Ten. I read somewhere in one of the scouting guides, I saw, what did I see? BTS, big, thick, strong. Like when you talk about pluggers in the middle, those are the type of players that we definitely need. He's an elite run defender. I think I read somewhere he only missed 2 tackles all of last season. Like that's exactly what you want for a team like the Giants as well. Missed tackles was sort of our bugbear last year. I just thought they had a really good bull rush as well, which I really like. If you can push offensive linemen back onto the lap of the quarterback, I love seeing that. He's got a few. He's got a bit of a spin move. He's got, he's not going to be your sort of like elite pass rusher from the middle. But I just think, again, he's one of those players that, at what size is he? 6'2", 326 pounds. Like, I mean, yeah, he's definitely someone who, if he was there in the second round, I mean, I'd run that card up to the podium, because I think, again, he's the type of player that would really, really fit what we're trying to do in defense.
Now, this guy was Miles 2, Mark 3, and you're 4. That's Caleb Banks. Now, Kev, there's one word that describes as to why Caleb Banks isn't higher for me and probably for you. What's the word I'm thinking of?
Oh, God, I don't know. Go on.
Injuries.
Yeah, of course. Oh, my God.
Caleb Banks could have stayed fit this year, without a doubt, I reckon he would have been my number 1. I think he would have irked Peter Woods and made that position his own. I mean, he had a foot injury in camp, which, to be fair, he did attempt to play through it. He had surgery in September. But rather than just sit it out and go, yeah, you know what, I've had my surgery in September, I've got the NFL draft coming up in April, I'm probably not going to be coming back. I'm going to kind of put my foot up, so to speak. Yeah. He did, and he came back and he played 3 games. And then, say, injuries, what did he do at the combine? He tweaked his foot at the combine as well. So for me, if it wasn't purely down to injuries, I reckon Caleb Banks would have made that number 1 position his own. Because of them injuries, I don't think it's out the realm of possibility. He could be there for the Giants at 37, or even if they drafted back to 42, potentially 43, depending on what the medicals are saying. I mean, Caleb Banks, I absolutely love him as a player. I mean, he put on a performance at the combine, 6'6", 327 pounds, ran his 40-yard dash in just over 5 seconds. Vertical jump of 32 inches, broad jump of 9'6". Like he put on the performance of the big guys for me at the combine. Like I say, this past year he did only play 3 games, so his stats are a little bit skewed. But kind of look at what he did the year before: 4 sacks, 4 hits, 21 hurries. I absolutely love Caleb Banks. To be fair, I wish he could just stay fit and healthy, because I think he'd absolutely dominate.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those players, like, he is 24 as well, so he's a little bit of an older prospect. But if he can stay healthy, he's a bit of a late bloomer. He didn't show much early on in his career, obviously, but some of the stuff he put on tape in 2024 was phenomenal. I think he rushed back from that injury last year. He missed the first 2 games and tried to come back and just re-aggravated it, and then didn't play until the bowl game, I don't think, or later on in the season. But he's one of those players with, like, if it wasn't for the injury concerns, he would be a lot higher on not just my board, but a lot of people's boards.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was thinking kind of off the back of the combine performance, he might have just solidified himself as that DT1 player. And then obviously kind of, he went in, it came out that he tweaked his ankle. I don't know if his ankle or his foot that he tweaked. Yeah. And obviously kind of, I don't know if he's going to be ready for training camp or kind of what the situation is in regards to that. But he's one of those players where I think the medicals are going to be so important, because he's answered the questions for me in regards to his character. He could have sat out the season. He didn't. Mm-hmm. He had surgery, come back. He could have sat out the combine. He didn't. He tried to do it. He even had a shot at the Senior Bowl as well, to be fair. He had some fantastic reps at the Senior Bowl in one-on-ones. So, yeah, for me, he's one who, if the Giants do trade back and he's still there in that second round, I would be rubbing my hands at the idea of pairing him up with Sexy Dexy in the middle.
Yeah, and definitely he's the type of player that you wouldn't need to give him so many snaps. He wouldn't have to play every single down the way some other players would have to play. I mean, you could bring Alexander in and sort of play them one after the other, and give them a rest and try and use them both to their advantage. You could have Alexander with his pass rushing ability, and you could have Caleb Banks in there just to disrupt the run.
Yeah, exactly. Like, a bit of a thunder and lightning, so to speak, of the of the defensive line rather than the running back position. And then kind of our number 5 guy is Lee Hunter across the board for all three of us. And I suppose, one hand you could turn around and say that somebody had to have it. But again, for me, there's just some of it. I just felt that he, for his size, like he's imagining 6'3", 318 pounds. I think at times he played like he was a little bit lighter than that.
Yeah.
I don't know if he kind of bulked up at the combine. I know what your thoughts was when you was watching his tape, but I just thought, for someone of his size, I don't think he uses it well. He tries to rely on it, but doesn't utilise it correctly.
He more tries to anticipate rushing lanes. So, say for example, he sort of like, instead of trying to drive offensive line players backwards, he more holds on, looking to see where the running back's going to go and try and make it into that gap and make the tackle. So that's why you sort of don't see him sort of getting many pass rushing attempts and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, but some of the stuff he is good. I mean, like I said, he's got great size and he's got 34 plus arms as well, and he's got good speed for his size. He is a good run defender, but he doesn't really disrupt the pocket as much as you'd like to see him for his size. Do you know what I mean? So I mean, he's still a good player. Don't get me wrong, but you're hoping maybe if you got him in, a bit of coaching.
If he's there at 37, you'd be over the moon with that. Or like I say again, if you trade back, and this is a conversation that we've kind of had between ourselves several times about that trading, that 37 is the prime area to trade back. If you can drop back 5 or 7 picks, pick up another day 2 pick, ideally maybe a mid to late third rounder to drop back, and you get a Lee Hunter there, I think you run to the podium with that pick, because it's the one position we've kind of not really addressed properly for me, to the point where you feel kind of comfortable with it.
And I'm just looking at these guys like on PFF. A lot of them will see defensive tackle. Like, you want them to be good in the run game, right? You want them to be good run defenders. But Lee Hunter, he's pretty good across the board in terms of his grades. So, you would he's good in pass rush and run defense as well. So, and his coverage grade as well is surprisingly high. So, if he's there at 37, take him. I agree.
So, shall we move on to my guys now? My guys, the defensive tackle position.
Guys.
So, I've gone with Xavier Harris of Ole Miss. Kev's gone with Darrell Jackson Jr. at Florida. And Mayo went with Dominic Orange of Iowa State. Dan, just so you're aware, Orange's nickname is Big Citrus.
Big Citrus.
Love it.
Of course it is. Craig won't be happy with you putting Darrell Jackson Jr. in a Florida uniform, not a Florida State uniform.
I know, yeah, I messed up on that one. That's the kind of big I had.
See, I got you, Craig. I got you. I got Darrell Jackson Jr. in there for you.
So yeah, Kev, which one of these do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about your guy, or is there one of the other guys you would rather talk about?
Yeah, I'll just say about Darrell Jackson Jr. just quickly. He's again one of the guys. He's another he played nose tackle, played 3 technique. He's 6'5", 328 pounds. He's got really low missed tackle rate at 7.7%. 14 pressures, 1 sack, 24 stops last year. He's just a massive, massive human being. He featured on Bruce Feldman's 2024 Freaks list. He was a 600 plus pound squat, 400 pound bench press. He's just a really, really big, strong, physical player, and he's explosive as well. He's actually quick for the big guy. I think he was clocked on the field at running around 20 miles an hour. For someone at that size, being picked up at the GPS at that speed is phenomenal. Effort as well. He just gives effort. One of those players that plays through the whistle. When he gets his hands on you, he drives the offensive line forward. He's just unpolished and unrefined and needs a bit of work. He hasn't really got a pass rush plan as such, but there's definitely something there to work with, and you know what I said about like sticking a big old body in the middle there to try and stop this teams rushing on us so much. You know, I just think be a nice player in there. And if you got him in the 3rd round or 4th round, I think like I said, plug and play player.
Yeah, I went with Xavier Harris out of Ole Miss. For people who would have watched last week's, obviously my guy at offensive tackle is Mark Albell, bit of a big human being. Xavier Harris also fits that mold. He's 6'8", 330 pounds.
He's a beast, isn't he?
Yeah, he's an absolute monster. And kind of, I clocked him when I was watching Walter Nolan. Was it last year's draft class? He had a bit of time on the field with him. Now, Harris hasn't really been spoken about much because, again, he's another one who's had a few injury issues. He had a condition flagged on the bottom of his foot at the combine. He was actually disallowed from working out, so he had to have surgery to repair the issue so he could be ready for camp in July. The rumour is that he's going to be returning back to Indianapolis in a few weeks' time to kind of have a combine medical recheck to make sure everything kind of checks out. And I think I'm right. I think I'm right in saying Kerry Harris had a few off the field issues as well, I believe.
Yeah, I think I haven't found out too much about it, about his off-field issues, but like there is some sort of thing about attitude and stuff like that. But like, just going off the and obviously like as we get more into the process, we'll look into more of these. But just on the field, like his club swim move is so good. Like he can beat the offensive lineman, and seeing him running along the line of scrimmage, following running backs and tracking them down, like I mean he's a really good player. Like I do like him a lot. It's fair play to put him in.
Yeah, look. So I think that's the two reasons why he's kind of not been spoken about much. Is the injury issue that got clocked in the combine. Now, as I say, there has been some off the field issues, questions about his attitude. But you know,
he was arrested for domestic violence and obstruction of justice or something.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was DV or DUI potentially. But I mean, you know, where did the Giants draft Jackson Dart from last year? Ole Miss. Yeah. What does that mean?
Anyone's got
they'll be able to.
If anyone's got the background, if anyone can, fill in
about it, and they would have been watching him at times because when scouts go to watch these games, they don't just go to watch Jackson Dart and then go and have a quick slash when Jackson Dart ain't on the field. They'll be watching the rest of the players as well. So you know, I'm sure they would have kind of got an insight into Xavier Harris. And then lastly, Miles guy, like I say, big citrus himself, Dominique Orange out of Iowa State.
Big citrus, love that.
I mean, he is big. Was he 6'2", 322 pounds?
Yeah, 33, 3/8 arm. He's just one of these guys who he's just fun to watch.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
like you know, he does struggle with double teams at times, but I think you know most people would. 6 foot. So I mean, you're probably likely to be a little bit bigger, maybe if he's about 6'4", but you know, I think the way he's just, like I say, he's just a fun player to watch, and he doesn't really offer anything as a pass rusher either. Yeah. So he's purely kind of in there as a run stopper. And again, another one. I feel like we keep saying this about all of them. I mean, for me, this defensive tackle class is probably the best if you require a nose tackle or a run stopping. 100%. Defensive tackle. There's not many like Darius Alexander's this year, but there is so many run stopping defensive tackles, and Big Citrus just falls into that category.
Yeah, and he played both like the 3-tech and nose tackle, but I think he flashed more playing nose tackle. Like when he's 1-on-1 with a center, like just again he was bull rushing and pushing the center back onto the QB's lap, and it was just like, oh, Big Citrus won that one again.
Yeah. Anything you want to add about the guys you spoke about, or Dan? Any questions you've got?
I mean, this comment that's coming from Holty. So just poking the bear even more. O-line first round, D-line second round. That's the trenches sorted then.
It would be a massive improvement, to be fair. And we've
That's definitely
Strike two. Strike two. I mean, I think defensive line second round by the sounds of it, is a very good bet.
to be fair, it's a shame we ain't got that third rounder, because that third rounder could potentially be a sweet spot to get a real nice run stopping defensive tackle in.
Yeah. I mean, I really like it's going to sound almost like a broken record, but especially for offensive line and defensive line, this is the perfect day for a day 2 pick. Like, if you were to pick up one of each on day 2, you're getting good quality starting players. And we've only got one pick on day 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, very true. It's going to be very, very interesting where we go with the day 1 and 2 picks. If it stays the same as it is, we've got holes to fill, and we've only got 2 picks in the first 2 days, so it's going to be very intriguing, I must say. But yeah, defensive tackle is definitely one of those positions where I think we definitely need depth behind Dex. Obviously, I know we spoke about Sam Roberts earlier, and also Shelby Harris as well. But Shelby Harris isn't getting any younger. Sam Roberts is not set the world alight in terms of his time in the league. So,
and he's back up for Dex. He's coming in to be the backup nose behind Dex to give Dex a bit of a blow.
Yeah. Whereas we're looking here for potentially the next star on that defensive line, aren't we? Cool. All right. DT's done.
We'll move on to one of the more premium positions in the NFL, and certainly in the defense, and that's top 5s at edge. So again, I'll read them out now. We have all got David Bailey at number 1. I've got Arvell Reese of Ohio State at 2. Ruben Bain Jr. is at 3. Ruben Bain Jr. is at 2 for Kevin Mayo. Keldrick Falk is at number 4 for me out of Auburn, where Kev also has him. Mayo has got him at 5. And Akeem Mesador is at 5 for me with Kev. And they both have Arvell Reese at 3. So once again, you've got the same 5 guys here. And
we didn't know this beforehand.
No, there's no. The only person who knew was me, but I do my top 5s before I get your top 5s, and I don't change mine. But I've got a question for Kev. Was this top 5 easy for you?
This top 5?
Yeah.
Top 5 was
the top 5 players.
Yeah, those top 5 were pretty much, I had them early.
See, it weren't for me. I'm not an Akeem Mesador guy.
Are you not?
Nah. I don't know what it is.
You don't like old people. Is that what's wrong with you? You don't like old people. Because he's 25. You don't like old people.
I don't know what it is. I just don't see it when I watch the tape. I look at him and I look at other guys such as Thomas, such as Zion Young.
Yeah,
and
Derek Moore.
Very, very close to Akeem Mesador. And I'll be honest with you, for a pass rushing, not saying defensive tackle, but I mean, Keldrick Falk could play a defensive line rather than playing the edge, so to speak.
I mean,
for me.
So for me, from Mesador, right? He is 25, so he's an older prospect. He's 6'3", 259. Last year he had 67 pressures and 13 sacks, 4 QB hits and 29 stops. I mean, he made all ACC team. He played through an elbow injury in the semifinals, so it shows like he's got that grit and determination. For me, he's one like a true 4-3 defensive end, old school. And we had a little chat, didn't we? Like we were saying, like, could you go top 5 DNs 4-3 and then top 5 3-4 outside linebackers? But we decided to do top 5 edge rushers because that's kind of what they all are. But he's a prototypical 4-3 edge.
Hand in the ground player.
Yeah. He from a 3-point stance.
Yeah. Rather than playing stood up, rushing the passer that way.
And like the thing was as well, like, both these Miami players, and we'll get on to the other one in a second, but for me last year, like watching Miami and Notre Dame, first game of the season, and Miami narrowly won it, like late on with a field goal. But just watching him go against our offensive line, I mean, the explosive first step, you know, he just generates pressure. He just gets to the quarterback and either sacks him or makes him throw the ball away or a mistimed pass. He shows multiple pass rush moves. I think because he's a little bit older, he's had more experience, so you can see sort of the skill set. He's developed a real skill set. He's got a good push-pull move. His use of his hands is just so good. Relentless motor, he just keeps going. He keeps going. Yeah, I mean, he can play. You could actually play him a little bit inside as well because he has that bit of power about him to maybe play a bit of 5 technique and a 3 technique as well. But like I said, he is a bit older. You know, he's 25 now. Is he tweener? Would he be more of a 3-4 defensive end maybe in that type of scheme? But yeah, I mean, like I said, he is a good player and a day one starter in the league, and that's why obviously I've got him in my top 5.
So we'll flip it around next. We've just spent a bit of time talking about the guy that obviously me and Kevin got 5 and Miles got him at 4. Let's talk about the guy at number 1, David Bailey.
Across the board.
For me, the reason he's number 1 is because I believe he's the safest pick of the edge rushers. I think that he plays so aggressive, so fast. I mean, you look at his measurables: 6'4", 251 pounds. Ran a 40 in 4.5, 35-inch vertical jump, 10'9" broad jump. There's a reason why they kind of brought during the combine. They brought up his comparison, and he's very, very similar to Brian Burns, and you can see a bit of Brian Burns-esque in his play. You know, for me, just one of these players who just plays at 100%. He's the athleticism he showed at the combine. It shows up on tape as well.
100%. I mean, he originally started his career at Stanford, and when he was transferring, I kind of hoped he'd go to Notre Dame. So he's apparently Notre Dame was quite high on Notre Dame as well before going to Texas Tech. But he's a smart football player as well. He's fast. He's a twitched up athlete. He's so old school as well. He doesn't wear any gloves. He doesn't wear any bands. He just goes out there in his bare hands. And just gets after the quarterback. He keeps his pad level really low, which is good. Gives him really good dip. He's got a really good dip move. He's got speed to chase down screens as well, which is fantastic. I think what did he do? He forced 7 fumbles the last 2 seasons as well, just from hustle plays. I mean, yeah, a lot of people sort of would have other players as number 1, but it's cool to see that all three of us are seeing the same thing with him. And put him on top of the tree.
Yeah, look, so I mean, he's there for me. I genuinely think he's the safest pick. I mean, like, you look at his past year, 21.6% pass run win rate, 15 sacks, 23 hits, 43 hurries. Like I say, he plays aggressive. The athleticism, it just shows up on tape. The production's there as well. And for me, I think, like, worst case scenario, you draft him and he doesn't quite work out. I think you're still getting a solid 7 to maybe even 10 sacks a season out of him.
And he would be like your edge rusher, like, as in like outside linebacker in a 3-4. I mean, so I mean, just a really, really good player. His play strength, he's not as strong, so he wouldn't really bull rush anyone. So if he more goes on speed and moves and counter moves to try and get to the quarterback. But I mean, like you said, safe as he comes in and you know what you're getting from him. So,
do you want to go for my number 2 next and your and Aaron's number 3, or do you want to go for your and Aaron's number 2 next, who is my number 3?
I've talked too much about Miami edge rushers because they've given me pain this past season, considering Miami, Notre Dame should have gone to the college playoff and were left out. And that loss against Miami.
I mentioned that before.
Them two give me nightmares after that game. So I'm going to go for Arvell Reese because I think he's more of a, not controversial, but definitely more of a talking point, considering he played majority off-ball linebacker. And some people have him as in the linebacker top 5s. And it's, again, kind of cool that we all see him as an edge rusher. Like, from the linebacker position, he had 27 pressures, 8 sacks, and only 6% missed tackle rate, 6 QB hits last year and 34 stops. He was first team All-American and first team Big Ten. He is 6'4", 241 pounds. He's very young as well. He's only 21, so there's a lot to work with there. He can play literally across the line, or can play linebacker as well. So literally, you can put him in any 7 spots on the defense line. He's got that versatility. He generates pressure from like multiple parts of the field. Like I said, you can line him up on the edge, you can line him up off ball, you can have him as a delayed blitzer. His change of direction is phenomenal. He can keep up with tight ends, he can keep up with running backs. His pursuit is unreal. I mean, he sees the ball and just goes after it, and he gets there so quick. He's really good at like getting into contact and getting off offensive linemen to go and make the play. I just think, like, I'm not saying he's the same player, but I can kind of see the same trajectory as Michael Parsons. Michael Parsons didn't play full-time on the edge. He played off-ball linebacker at Penn State, and he was projected to be an edge rusher in the NFL. So I kind of see the same traits with Arvell Reese. And I'm kind of interested, seeing John Harbaugh there today at Ohio State, talking to him. If he's there at 5 and we pick him, where do we play him, though? It's such a strange one, But for me, yeah, he's a really, really good player. And he probably should be higher. But for me, I haven't seen it because he played so much off ball. That's kind of why I have him behind the other 2, because the other 2, I've seen the production in college at that position. I can see what translates to the NFL, what doesn't translate to the NFL. But for Arvell Reese, I think it's definitely way more of a projection, but I think he will be a good player.
Yeah, so for me with Reese, the reason he's at number 2 for me is that two factors. Number one, he's just 20 years old. So he's young. He's one of the youngest in the draft class, maybe even the youngest. I'm not too sure on that one. But also, number 2, I think he's got the highest ceiling of all these players at the edge position. Maybe a bit more of a low floor, but kind of my notes I've put on him is that he's got the highest ceiling. Some people see him as a linebacker, some as an edge, and for me, that's where he is. He can play linebacker if needed, but I think if you want to get the best out of him, it's when he's rushing the passer. And kind of what you said in regards to Michael Parsons, I've got in my notes, I've got him as Carter stroke Parsons light. And what I mean by that is, Carter played linebacker at Penn State, moved to the edge his last season, and kind of that's where we've utilised him the most. And then obviously Michael Parsons, like you say, Parsons predominantly played linebacker, and then he was moved to the edge for Dallas. And Arvell Reese was kind of asked to do that midway through the season with Ohio State. So, like I say, for me, the only reason he's at number 2 for me is because of how young he is, and I do genuinely think he's probably got the highest ceiling. Whilst you've got David Bailey, who's the safest pick, Arvell Reese is pick, but I think he could have a much higher ceiling if things was to pan out. And just kind of whilst we're talking about this, me and Kev spoke about this last night, it very much is 1A, 1B, 1C with these first 3 guys. You've got to pick something to separate them, and for me, it's just come down to 2 of them. One of them, I could say you're a safe pick, and the other one, I could turn and say you've got a higher ceiling and you're the younger player. So, we'll. Do you want to talk about Ruben Bain then?
No, I'll let you talk about Ruben Bain. I'll take Kendrick Falk when we come to him.
You don't want to talk about more Miami, Kev?
No, not anymore.
Yeah, so obviously there's been a lot of comments in regards to Ruben Bain and his measurables, what he came in at the combine. He measured in at, just waiting for it to load up because my internet's slow today. 6'2", 263 pounds, which for me is probably a little bit on the smaller side than what I'd want him to be personally. I'd rather see him kind of my edge guys be at least 6'4". Arms of 30 inch. Now you compare that's 3 inches shorter than David Bailey, and there's kind of been a lot of questions in regards to that. I know that he had his Miami Pro Day. I think he come in about an inch longer. I think at his Pro Day the other day, 31. I want to say it was. There's
a lot of players are coming in with longer arms on their pro days compared to the combine.
Yeah. So for me,
why would that be? Like, why would they get the measurements so different in compared from pro days to the combine. Like
Usually you find it's the combine's the legit one and the pro day is kind of not really counted, so to speak. But for some reason this year, I don't know what's gone on this year at the combine, but there's been questions about people's times, about people's arm length, and Kev, I don't know if you've heard anything, but I have no idea as to why the combine seems to have been so out this year.
I really don't know. Maybe it's a rookie measurer. I don't know. Honestly, don't know. But like half an inch isn't going to make a whole lot of difference. Let's be honest. And the times kind of make no difference at all, because most of the time teams will go off their own stopwatch. So whatever's published times, you can take with a pinch of salt, because teams will have their own person measuring the times, and that's the ones they'll go off when they come to put the measurements together.
Fair. Oh, sorry, I interrupted you, Karen.
Yes, so for me, Ruben Bain, I'll put him at 3 because, like I say, Bailey's the safe pick, Reese is the upside pick. I can't deny Ruben Bain's arm length. It potentially does create an issue for me, because I just think with the shorter arms, he's going to struggle at that kind of point of attack. He's not got that length to keep people at bay a little bit longer, the offensive line. But at the same time, I'm going to contradict myself now, because you watch him on tape and it's not an issue in the slightest. And 68 hurries, 3 hits and 12 sacks will show you that this past year. He always performed. He's one of them where you look at the measurables and you think this guy ain't going to have it, and then you watch it on tape and you're like, what am I watching?
It's dominant.
This doesn't matter in my head. What I think I'm going to see, my eyes ain't seeing it. But I do think if he gets the right scheme, he can be fairly consistent. But though that arm length is going to be very questionable for me. Like I said, I do wonder if he's maybe going to be a better fit in a 3-4 D end rather than an outside linebacker stroke 4-3 D end. I do think he could potentially be a little bit better player on the inside, where for me the arm length won't matter as much as it does on the outside going up against the tackles.
Yeah, because he's definitely he's a stocky, powerful player, as opposed to speed. He doesn't use speed to get around the edges. Although he's got a real deep pass rush arsenal, he's got really good pass rush moves, but then he's got counters to those moves. And he's very good on stunts as well, like looping on stunts. He sort of, you think he's going to rush, and then he'll loop around and pick the gap between the defensive tackles where the linemen don't pick him up, and then he makes a play on the QB then. So, he's a very clever footballer as well. Like you said, you sort of look at the measurables and you're like, yeah, okay, he's not going to be that good. And then when you watch him play, it's like, okay, he's just a good football player. And sometimes, you have to throw those things out the window and just go, draft good football players.
Yeah, I mean, to an extent, I'd say he's kind of the opposite of David Bailey. Whilst David Bailey doesn't have that kind of powerful ball rush move in his arsenal, Ruben Bain can have that. But like I say, it's the arm length and the size that kind of then counteracts that. But he's definitely one of them. I find Ruben Bain a really intriguing prospect, because like I say, you don't expect him to. You look at him and you're like, he's probably all right. He's probably. You got a couple of things, and then you watch it, and like I say, 16 games, 68 hurries. Like you look at it, like, is that a typo? Like, has someone got, should it be 38 rather than 68 or something? But he's really an intriguing prospect, and I think his landing spot's going to be really good, because with Ruben Bain, I don't know where Ruben Bain's going to go in the draft. I think he could go as 6 or 7. Well, not 7 to Washington, but maybe 6, 7, 8. Or he could easily fall into the mid to late teens.
I was going to say, he could go as early as 2 and go all the way back to 20.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I feel the range for Ruben Bain is really vast, whereas David Bailey and Arvell Reese, for me personally, I expect them to be gone by 10.
Yeah.
So then the last guy we've got to talk about is mine and your number 4, Kev. Caldrick Forkett of Auburn. Miles got him at number 5.
Yeah, he's not a player I thought I wouldn't like as much, just going off the stats and measurables and stuff until I went to watch him. He's a very young player now. He is 20. He's 6'6", 276 pounds. He had 29 pressures last year with 2 sacks, 10% missed tackle rate, one QB hit, 23 stops. So it doesn't sort of set the world alight, but I just think he's got just a really good blend of height, weight, length, athleticism, power. You know, he made it on Bruce Feldman's Freaks list last year as well for his power. I'm a bit of a sucker for certain types of players in certain positions. And again, for edge rushers, I just love, maybe it's because when I started following the Giants, I followed, you know, your Justin Tucks, your Osi Umenyuras, you know, your proper 4-3 defensive ends. And he is exactly that. And he's got a really good long arm stab. You know, he flashes, good hand uses on the inside. He can slip and circle around interior blockers. He stacks and sheds really well. I think he's versatile. He can play all across the line. I think he's definitely a player you look at when you watch him on film. He almost wins a lot. Do you know what I mean? He's like, oh, you know, just the QB just got away from him, or he had a really good spin, a really good hand move there, but the offensive tackle just regained his position and stuff. And so, like, you're looking at it like as a defensive coordinator or defensive line coach, you're like, oh, there's a lot to work with there. And I think he's really good. He anchors well against the run. Again, it's something we need to improve on a lot. So, and he's a proper 3-point stance rusher, hand in the dirt, gets dirty and gets involved in it. Like, you know, yes, you'd like to see a little bit more from him. You know, he's not the most mobile player. I think he relies too much on pure raw strength to win the snap or to win the rep. But yeah, I think there's a lot to work with there. And again, he's a player that a defensive line coach would be like, get him in my room and I will make him a top player.
Yeah, I mean, Keldrick Ford, I mean, you talk about Arvell Reese's upside. I think Keldrick Ford could have maybe even a bigger ceiling than what Arvell Reese could, but maybe his floor's a lot lower than Arvell Reese's as well. You know, I think you look at him 6'6", 276 pounds. I mean, that's if you could build an edge rusher in a lab, 6'6", 276 is kind of what it would be. Now, for me, the production kind of wasn't really there where I'd want it to be this past season. I think he only had 2 sacks all season. But, you know, when you're talking about a 6'6", 276 pound, 20-year-old, then I think, like I say, you know, the team that drafts him is going to be a team that will probably be a consistent playoff contender who can afford to maybe take that risk. Like, I'm not saying this exact team, but like, say a Buffalo Bills, for instance. Yeah. Like, it'd be a
great shot, to be fair.
It'd be a perfect fit for them.
He'll go into the first round, I think. Definitely, like you said, to play a good team, and they can bring him along at the right pace. Yeah.
Not like the Giants with Carter last year, where, okay, they didn't rush him, but, like, you know, Falk, maybe only sees 100 snaps in his rookie season, potentially, whilst he's getting a feel for the NFL and kind of what he needs to do to take his game to the next level. But, you know, I think he's a fantastic run stopper as well. Posted a run stop grade of 85.5 this past year. He's another one who I do wonder, like, where's he going to be best suited? Is he best suited in a 3-4 outside linebacker? Is he best suited as a 4-3 D end? Is he best suited as a 3-4 D end? I think there's a lot you can kind of do with him when he's got those measurables, that size. Right. My guys at the edge position now. There's a Penn State player on there. There's a Penn State player on there. Not from me. So I've gone with R. Mason Thomas out of Oklahoma. Kev has gone for Dennis Sutton out of Penn State. And Mayo has gone for Zion Young out of Mizzou. I'll take the lead on this one with R. Mason Thomas. The Giants have spoken in the past about dogs. R. Mason Thomas is a dog. He's explosive, aggressiveness, 21 run stops over the past 2 seasons. Did have injury in the past. He did have a few injuries this past 2025 season, but he still managed to get 6.5 sacks. He's just somebody who plays explosive, powerful, violent. He's the definition of a dog for me, Kev. I don't know if you've watched much R. Mason Thomas tape, but I really like him.
He has got elite speed and bend. Like his dip and rip move is phenomenal. Like he's so quick. Like, and I think I haven't got him that far back, to be fair. But I saw someone the other day has got him in the first round, at the very back of the first round. For all the things you said, I mean, his change of direction is really good. Yeah, I think, again, he's a little bit raw, but he's just one of those players that he can bend at the edge, and he can he can just go for days. He's just got really good motor. Yeah, I think he's definitely a raw prospect, but again, another one a team would love to have in the building.
Kev, my guy Dennis Sutton.
I really didn't want to put him in. I really didn't want to put him in, but every time I was coming to watch Penn State defense, because they've got a good interior guy I like as well. He just stood out to me. I mean, he had 50 pressures, 8 sacks, 14 QB hits, and 29 stops last year. But he's just again, he's 6'5", 268. He's definitely my type of edge rusher. A massive wingspan, a really good first step for his size. His straight line closing burst towards the QB is excellent. He's got a really good spin move as well. I love his spin move. Powerful frame, big and strong, good against the run. Again, can play 9 tech way outside the tight end, but also he can play 5 and he can play 3 tech in the middle, I think, as well. He can give you that versatility. Now, if his bull rush doesn't move, he hasn't really got many counters to that. He can be fooled by misdirection as well. If he thinks the ball's going one way and it goes the other way, he's completely out of the play sometimes. His balance issues a little bit as well. But like I said, he seems like my type of edge rusher. And like I said, every time I was watching Penn State's defense, I just saw him sort of stand out, and I was like, yeah, I do like him.
Yeah, look, it's that misdirection that he kind of falls for, so to speak, at times. He doesn't finish as often as you'd like to see him finish either. I think he leaves a lot on the field at times. It was just me, but I just think he screams a Philadelphia Eagle kind of player, to be honest with you.
Don't go to them.
Again, another one of them where he's going to go in, not have to start day one, can learn from a good defensive line, a good pass rushing group. And then kind of last but not least, Zion Young out of Missouri. 6'6", 262 pounds. He was somebody who was in contention for me with my top 5. Like I said, I'm not a massive Messidor kind of guy, but he was up there with potentially going into that top 5 for me. I think he's there's potential there, but you can see a lot of his limitations. He came on during the season as a run defender as well, not kind of where his main kind of skill set is, but he did improve as the season went on. Again, I think he's another one who's fairly young. I want to say he's about 21, I think. 22.
He'd be 22 at the time of his rookie season.
Yeah, 22. I mean, this past season, 8 sacks, 17 hits, 32 hurries. Again, just another one who's there's potential there. There's a reason. He's another one. It wouldn't surprise me if he snuck into the first round. I think he's in that kind of conversation with R. Thomas and maybe even Keldrick Fulk as to edge guys that might sneak into that kind of back end of the first round.
Yeah, I mean, he is a good player. He started at the point of attack. His hands are relentless. He just keeps going with the hands fighting. He uses his length really well. That long, strong, big, thick frame on him. I mean, he did have a DUI in December. His first team, after being selected, first team all SEC. He was arrested in early December for a DWI, speeding, and failure to properly affix his license plate to his car. I mean, they're all silly things, and I think, with him being so young, like you say, interviews and stuff is going to be big for him. Do you know what I mean? Well, I mean, with all these prospects, you want to have a chat with them and get a feel for them and see if it was a dumb mistake and that. But he definitely a player to watch out for. I mean, he's definitely in my top 10.
Yeah, and again, he's another one of them who's you can see the dog in him when he plays. He does play aggressive and violent, and that's kind of what you want your edge players to do, basically. So there we go. That's our top fives and our my guys.
Top fives and my guys. There we go.
There
So
you
I've made a few notes of some players to look out for.
go.
Obviously, like I said last week, with the top fives and the my guys, we'll keep an eye on where they go and where they get drafted. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see especially the sort of the guys towards the top of your list. Be interesting to see where they go and who they go to. You never know. We might take one in the second. Well, probably not first round, but maybe in the second round. We'll see. Nice. I've learnt a lot. Thank you, gentlemen. So, mock draft. Should we go?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm in charge of getting Motti.
Let's get Mocky.
There we go. That'll do. Everyone can see that, yeah. I don't know why it's so low down, but there we go.
There
Right
we
then.
go.
So I'm going to do this a bit different. We're a set of Giants. I'm doing this different because I'm in charge and I can do what I want. We're going to enter the draft.
Are we doing 3 rounds? Might as well do 4, no?
Don't worry.
You haven't got a
Don't
third
worry.
round pick.
No, not talking about the pick. So this is the conversation I want to have with you guys because
Here
it's
we go.
about make it a bit bigger. There we go. Right then, the Giants on the clock at pick 37. Let's talk about trade back situations from pick 37 because, irrespective of who we're taking the first round, whether it's Jeremiah Love, whether it's Sonny Stark, Caleb Downs, Carnell Tate, the dreaded position that no one ever wants to see, that I'm not going to utter the words because I'll have to wash my mouth out with soap. But whatever happens in round 1, if we want to trade back in round 2, what kind of area, like what teams are you maybe thinking about training back with, targeting with?
So first of all, right, let me, if you don't mind, Dan, I'll just go over some of the players on the list
Go for it.
who will be giving up and how many players I like for this position. Because I think if you like one player, if you've got a second round grade on one player, you're not going to move, obviously. But if you like 10 players, then you're happy to move back 15 spots, for example. So for me, starting at the top there, like Pregnon, instant starter, 100% would make a selection at 37, 100%. Christian Miller, I've just said he's my number 1 D tackle, so I would be very happy to take that. Caleb Lomu, he is a tackle, but I think he can play all across, including center. I think he can play tackle, guard, and center. I'd be happy with that pick. And then we've got Lee Hunter, again, someone else who can come in and plug in. Zion Young, I don't think would be a pick for us because of our current situation. Brandon Cisse, I think, again, is a very high player for me. I won't tell you where he is in my top 5s because that's for next week. But I'd happily pick him at this pick. D'Angelo Pons, I'm not as big a fan as some people. I think he's inside only, although he played outside at college. I think he's just a little bit too small for me. Then you have Jacob Rodriguez. Again, he's a dog. He would come in and start. Chris Johnson, I love, would be an instant starter on the outside. R. Mason, we talked about, very good player, wouldn't necessarily be looking for us. Bizontes, again, he would come in and start for me. Jeremy Bernard is a really, really solid receiver. Again, would come in and be number 2 straight away. Keith Abney's a starting cornerback. The point I'm trying to make is you see how many players that I think would come in and start for this team, how many players I like at this position. So for me, I'm happy to trade back a good bit because there's enough players there that I would happily pick for us in this second round. I don't know how do you feel similar about that, Shane?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing I'm just looking at here on the left-hand side is obviously we're trading back. We want a third-round pick.
Yeah.
And the teams that give up third-round pick, it's going to be teams that have got ideally multiple. So the kind of team I've noticed straight away is Jacksonville. They've got pick 100. They've got pick 88. They've got pick 81.
Mm-hmm.
Pick at 56, I think, here. Now, he's moving from 37 to 56, too much of a drop. He's 20 spots too much.
Well, let's see. Pull up trade and pull up Jacksonville and see what they've got. Well, see, Steelers want us to go back to 53, so.
So something I'd be thinking is if you send 37, if you get 56,
88.
88.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know if 80. That's the ones I'd be looking for. I'd want 56, and I'm thinking I either want 81 and 88 as well. Because then we'd be picking at 56, 81, 105.
Yeah.
But is there any other team that you're thinking before I get sending this to them? I mean, I think the Browns, I feel like the Browns have got a few picks, but are they more...
Miami would have a few as well. They sort of had a was a fire seal, didn't they? They sort of got rid of everyone.
Yeah, Miami got about 3. So if you wanted to do something with Miami...
Pick 43.
You'd be going 37, 43.
You go dropping back 6 picks.
So, I mean, if you got 43 and 87, I mean, that is... You'd be happy with that, would you?
I think that'd be too lopsided.
So, okay, what about 94?
I think 94 is a better chance.
Yeah. Either 90 or 94, yeah.
I mean, if you look at the PFF down the bottom, so if you put 94, it's got a 61% chance to be accepted. If you make it 90, it's 50-50.
Okay.
I mean, you do... No, you're not going to get
the thing is...
So for me, it comes down to, do you want to trade back 10 spots and pick up just the 1 third rounder, or what did we say with Jacksonville? 56 and 81. So you're going on the board about what, 14 picks earlier, 13 picks earlier. So you're picking 10 picks, but going on the board sooner.
So if you do 56-81, would you get one of the 1-2-4s? Would you get one of those ones as well? See, I would make. See, I'd make that trade. 56-81, 124.
Yeah, so Jacksonville accepted that. So, like I say, we've only done rounds 2 and 3. I've not got into rounds 4 yet. But if we look at kind of who went off the board there, I mean, there's a lot of the players you've spoke about have now gone. Lomu's gone, Cesar's gone, Miller's gone, Pregnant's gone, Hunter's gone, Chris Johnson, Rodriguez, Bisontis, Chris Bell's gone. So that's the flip side that you have. You're getting that. You're getting on the sooner in the 3rd round, but you're losing out on the talent. I mean, if you look who's left, I mean, for me. So
you're looking at Jennings Dunker to come in and play right guard, start straight away. Chris Brazel, the 2nd, he'd come in and be wide receiver number 2.
No, I'm not taking a Tennessee wide receiver.
You're absolutely done there.
Yeah, I'm done with Tennessee wide receivers now.
Again, you got Skylar Bell to come in and be starting slot wide receiver.
I love Skylar Bell.
So do you know who I really like? I like Traden Stukes here as well. I think he is a fantastic sort of cornerback, slot, safety type player. But
I also like Bryce Lance.
Right. Sneak preview here. I love Bryce Lance.
Yeah.
I love Bryce Lance.
I ain't going to tell you who my guys at wide receiver am. I can only pick one, but I've already spoke about 2 of them.
Yeah. I mean, for me, again, so there's plenty of players here to choose from. I mean, Caleb Tiernan, I think, will go a lot earlier in this. He won't be on the board. I think he's a very good starting right tackle. But Josiah Trotter there, Igbenison.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Antonio Williams as well, who is a phenomenal slot wide receiver. You got Mike Washington. I mean, he definitely won't be there. He'll be long gone, that running back.
I don't hate Elijah Solarat. Kalen Rutledge.
See, I mean, so it depends. What position do you want? What position would you like to target?
Well, I think I just took running back in the 1st round because he was just there. But let's say,
so do you want to pull up? Do you want to pull up linebacker, wide receiver, and guard? our offensive line?
Well, I was going to say, if we leave linebacker out, just
Yeah.
for the simple fact that I don't know, I think Sonny Styles is in conversation. For me,
Okay.
I think the guys we're going to be taking in round 2 is either going to be a wide receiver, a corner, or a D tackle, or a guard.
Okay.
So if we go interior O line, I'll put a defensive tackle because obviously Jennings Duncan's down as a tackle. He's going to play guard. So we've got our O line, we've got our corner, we've got D tackle, and then last but not least, we've got wide receiver. So for me, looks like the two that stand out in the O line is Jennings Duncan and Caelan Rutledge. And obviously, me and you have both had Caelan Rutledge as our number 5 guy, I want to say, last week.
He's my number 3, and I think he's a top 50 player, so he'd be one of the highest players for me. And he fills a massive need.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Rutledge, it played it all through college exactly where we need him to play at that right guard position. This past year gave up 0 sacks, just the 2 hits and the 4 hurries.
I think it's a no-brainer.
I think the conversation is between him or Jennings Duncan. And I think I'd go Caelan, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, see, I've got Rutledge, Bizontis, and Dunker in that order as my guards.
So, do we want to go for Rutledge?
Yes, sir.
I mean, if you can try back and get Caelan Rutledge.
Yeah, that's a win. That is a win.
I'm not going to say a home run pick, but it's that's kind of what you want to be doing. And then I think here at this pick, you're then looking at either wide receiver, cornerback, or D tackle. I mean, it's on through here now. I like Dante Corleone. I like Malik Mohammed.
Yeah. Devin Moore, I like as a quarterback.
Really
Everett as well.
Yeah.
Ted Hurst, though. Ted Hurst and Malachi Fields. I love them 2 players.
I don't know why you like
no surprise you love Malachi Fields, yeah.
Of course, that is. But I mean, again, you got Xavier Ayers, who we've spoken about. Landon Robinson, who I think was not invited to the combine, which I think is criminal. I think he should have had an invite personally.
Who was that?
The Navy guy, Landon Robinson.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think he had an invite to the combine, and I think he should have personally. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking at kind of need, I mean, if you take the needs out, the best players available on the board, I mean, would you have any interest in a Conlou at this point?
Yeah, not at this point, because I think there's too many players. Because I think JMS will get another year under Harbaugh. Again, like Kingsley, and he'll get another year. He showed improvement last year. And I think with so many starting caliber players, especially that wide receiver and cornerback. I mean, I think if you even do safety, I love Genesis Smith there. I think he'd been absolute steal at this point as well. But for pure, like, not need. You don't draft for need, obviously. But when you have like someone like Malachi Fields, Ted Hurst there, or Devin Moore and Dalen Everett, who definitely come in. I mean, Deion Burks is a fantastic slot receiver as well. But these are all players that would come in and fight for a position as a starter player.
Yeah, I mean, Everett is the one who probably stands out the most to me. I'm just looking. Devin Moore looks like he's got the better man coverage grade, which could potentially mean that he's a better fit for what Wilson wants to do.
Yeah, I have Everett above Moore.
Yeah, so I think if you go in corner, it's just going to come down to the fit more than what it is. I mean, this third round is kind of where we've said, I mean, like I say, you know, you say you've took Jeremiah Love there, you've got your guard.
Yeah.
I mean, Ted Hurst, I do like. Ted Hurst, again, he's another one who, you know, I wish he'd have got that 1 yard.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Must be so gutting to be 1 yard shy, man.
I mean, his drop rate is a little bit high for my liking, 9%.
little bit.
Anything over 7% is a concern for me. But he had a high contested catch rate. Malachi Fields had a nice drop rate, but again, he's not going to be burning anybody on the outside.
No, exactly. And like the drop rate you really want on 4% or under.
As low as
That's
possible.
kind of what you want. And you have Ted Hurst there. His drop rate was 9.
9 dead on.
Malachi Fields was 2.7. Just saying.
It just comes down to if you want the corner. What's the bigger need for the Giants right now? Is it corner or is it wide receiver?
Corner to come in and compete with Greg Newsome, because I think Mooney can be a starter and Calvin Austin can be a starter. They sort of proven they've got starting capabilities, whereas Newsome needs to prove it.
I definitely think corners a bigger need,
and we're very thin after that.
Likely.
We're very thin after. So if we're going cornerback here, I'd go Dalen Everett.
Where do you have Malik Muhammad out of curiosity? I'm a Malik Muhammad guy.
Are you now? So where would you have him? Let me just pull him up here.
Is that a spoiler for next week, Shane, or is that just you saying you like him?
He's not in my top 5, but I do like.
He's currently, well, I might as well just say he's 11 for me at the moment.
Yeah,
I
was thinking more along the lines of is he your guy?
Nah. I'm happy to go to Malik Muhammad here. Let's do it.
I do think Moore or Everett's the pick. I just don't know who'd be the better fit for what Denard Wilson's going to want to do.
And that's the question, isn't it? It comes down to the scheme that he wants to put into place.
I'll be tempted to go down Everett just because I don't trust these Florida guys.
Yeah, I mean, Everett's more press man and Muhammad's more off coverage, isn't he?
Yeah. Everett, yeah.
Go Everett then. Go
Everett.
So obviously we're going to ignore the first picks. It was just to get us onto the kind of the talking point that I wanted to get us onto was kind of that trading back scenario. And as you can see there, you know, we only trade out at 37. We did move back nearly 20 spots, but we did pick up that extra third rounder and additionally a fourth rounder as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, if that's the trade that goes down on draft night, are you guys happy with that?
100%.
Yeah, I think it's a great deal. The fact we picked up 2 additional picks as well, I think, you know, we're dropping back 19 spaces, but we're picking up 2 additional picks. One day 2, 1 day 3. That can only be a good thing, right? And if there's you know, if there's players at 56 that the Giants are still high on, then you know it's a win-win, surely.
Yeah, definitely. For me, Keelan Rutledge being the conversation at 37.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. We'll just do one last one. We'll just a quick one rounder. Mendoza goes 1, Reese at 2, Mawanoe at 3, Ruben Bain Jr. at 4. Who's the pick here?
Take your pick. Who do you want?
I mean, well, for me,
Kev, would you love this situation?
I would absolutely love this situation. But for me, it's not as cut and dry as just going Jeremiah Love. Because for me at this pick, I've been thinking about this recently. The players that, because we have so many holes and we have so many like positions that we could upgrade. And they're not sexy positions. But if you look, Jeremiah Love come in and make this team better. Sonny Styles will come in and make this team better. Caleb Downs will come in and make this team better. Mansour DeLeon, some people think it's a little high at 5. I personally don't. I love Mansour DeLeon. I'd be happy to pick him at 5. He'd come in and start it straight away. Carnell Tate would come in and be your big boundary possession receiver to go opposite Malik Neighbors. If you scroll down a little bit more, like so, all these the point of making is even even Spencer Fano, like these type of players, if we were to take Ione, would it be early? Yes. Would you like to trade back and get him? Yes. Would he come in and improve this team currently? Yes. So for me, there's no real wrong answer. There's a lot of players that I would be happy with, and I could understand us taking. And I don't really have a clear favorite. If the draft goes away, it goes those first four picks. For me, I don't have not one player stands out as mean he's automatic. I can see us picking all those players that I just named there now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at. I'm not going to lie. I wouldn't hate a trade back and taking Vega Ioane at Penn State. I think for me, obviously, I won on the episode last. Vega Ioane is the best interior offensive lineman to quit in the draft since your boy. His name's escaped me.
Oh, come on. The level of disrespect.
Just me had a week from now. Nelson.
Big Q, Quentin Nelson.
Nelson got there at the end. I genuinely do think Ioane is the best guard to come out in the draft since him. Not saying he's better than him, but since he came out, I don't think there's been a better guard to draft.
I agree.
Along the lines of, do you trade back, get that second rounder, maybe a third rounder instead, and take the right guard?
I wouldn't hit it, and you might not get the haul that you would expect in years past, or if someone's moving up for a QB or something like that, because the talent just isn't there for that. So you might have to take an undervalued trade package. But if you were to move back any number of spots and pick up a player like that, you'd feel good about the trade.
I mean, what about some just looking at the teams that are interested in trading? Obviously, we wouldn't want to try that this far. What the Saints at 8, you get pick 8 and 42, but you give up 105.
I mean, for me, yes, because like I said, there's enough players there's enough players on the board where you're getting one of the players you'll feel happy about at 8, and you're getting another top 100 pick. And
that's probably the situation where you're probably not getting the value you'd like to get. You're thinking, if I'm moving back, I know it's only 3 spots, but you'd probably say, ideally, you don't want to give up that 105.
No.
I mean, maybe you just say, you know what, give us 8 and 42. We move back to 5. They accept it. You resume the draft. Bailey's gone, Jeremiah Love, Cornell Tate's gone. You still got Styles.
You still got Sonny Styles. You still got Caleb Downs. Yeah.
Who stays? You then don't trade back again.
Oh,
for the Rams.
Let the man cook.
Yeah, we're flying now.
Cooking on gas.
Oh.
Yeah, you see what I tried to do there.
Yeah.
Next year's second rounder.
Go on.
Maybe you say you
try it.
Nah, they wouldn't give it 23% chance to be accepted. And then you could get 207 if you wanted. I don't know what you'd get me 207, but
do you know what? I still would be fine with 13 and 61, to be honest. Because again, try to do it and see what comes up.
So then we've still got Mansour Delane, we've still got Vega, and this is the point where you go, okay, you know what? We're done trading now.
Yeah.
You traded back a couple of times. Guys who want to have gone off the board. Don't know how I feel about Dylan Tiedemann going before Caleb Downs. Conversation for another day, potentially.
Definitely.
But look, we've got 4 top 60 picks almost there.
Yeah, exactly. So now, all of a sudden, you've gone, you know what? We've traded back a couple of times. Yeah, okay, we've lost out on Jeremiah Love, Cornell Tate, Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, but we've still got the cornerback we could potentially need, or Vega Ioane, who would be my pick, and that's no bias at all.
Either of those, I'd be happy. I'd be ecstatic. I only mean makes more sense there.
Yeah. So then, look at that! I accidentally did a let's carry on whilst we were at it. I thought the draft was going to end there, but we're having a bit of fun here. So you're coming to here and you're going, okay, you know what? We've got the guard.
Yeah.
We've still got pick 37, 42, and 61 to come. You've got Leon. You've got Brandon Cisse. You've
Peter
got
Woods.
Peter. I mean, is Peter Woods the no-brainer here?
I think so.
So
I
you
would
take
love to
Peter-
see. I think Cisse is a great shout there, but Woods is staring you right in the face.
And there you're saying, okay, you know what? I've got Cisse. I've got Jacob Rodriguez. I've got Chris Johnson. Like, this
Yeah.
GM shit, easy, man. Fucking hell.
Yeah. Joe Shane, take notes.
Go on,
Joe
just
Shane, take notes. Yeah.
Go on, let's just go. Go Cisse there and let's crack on. Let's do the rest of it quickly before we jump off. We're jumping off after this. So let's just go
And then who are you
Cisse.
getting at 61?
61. Jazarian Price, get the running back. No, but then you got Golday. For me, a Bryce Lance. Oh,
Because so you've got linebacker there. You've got
yeah.
Isaiah Trotter as well.
So whilst we didn't pick up a third rounder, we picked up 2 additional second rounders doing what we did. I'm going to take Jake. We took a linebacker, have we?
No.
We'll take Jake Golday. So again, there, we've just done a situation where we've gone, let's trade back. Let's trade back again.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, this is fantasy land, and you're not always going to have somebody to trade up with you in the actual draft. But, we've kind of turned 1 pick. Well, essentially, we've turned 2 picks there into 4 picks.
Plus
I think-
a 6th rounder as well.
I mean, you filled a massive hole in the offense, right? With the guard there. And that offense is functional now. You can go out there and play in the NFL with that offense with the guard hole plugged. And you've revamped your defense. You've got your 3 technique defensive lineman to go along with Sexy Dexy. You've got your linebacker to go next to Trayvon Edmonds. And then now you've got your starting cornerback to go alongside Adebo.
But the thing is, though, as well, you don't even need Cisse to start. You could say to Newsom, it's your job to lose.
Yeah.
And say to Cisse, you know what? You're going to win it, but you're in a camp battle with Deontay Banks.
Yeah.
And then, maybe 6 weeks into the season, if it's not working out with Newsom, you'd say, okay, Cisse, come on, now it's your time to kind of step up. So you don't even need to be starting him week 1. It's kind of similar with Jake Golday, depending on how Michael McFadden comes back from his injury.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, is it? Because McFadden's not guaranteed to come back all guns, firing, is he? Let's face it.
Well done, us. We nailed it.
Look at that, eh? Look at that.
It's
just getting started, boys and girls. It's just getting started.
Second round trade back and a first round trade back twice.
Yeah.
And look at that, we got great grades off PFF.
I know, and they never give good grades.
Nah.
Win-win. Happy days.
Very good.
The fun's just getting started, boys.
Did you enjoy that, Dan?
Fun's just getting started. Yeah, love it. Love it. Who doesn't love a mock draft, eh? Who doesn't love it? But unfortunately, though, that is all we have time for this evening. Ended on a high, so it's a good way to round out the show. We'll be back next Wednesday to carry on our breakdown of this year's draft prospects as we move on to the rest of the defense as we cover linebackers, corners, and safeties as well. So looking forward to that one. Anything else to add before we go, boys?
That's really fun one tonight. Obviously, like I say, I've had the OG3 on. We've done some top 5s. We've done our my guys. We've done mock drafts where we've traded back, and I traded back and took an O-line in the first round.
Wow, who would have thought it?
What has happened? What has happened?
It took a
Where has the real Shane gone?
It took a Penn State for me to do it.
Wow, I mean, I just love the growth shit.
The development.
Man, fantastic. Yeah, really good fun tonight, boys. The draft stuff is really ramping up. We're coming to the end of free agency, but free agency isn't done. We'll make a few more moves here and there, roster moves. And maybe when the comp pick formula stuff starts to finish, then we might make a few other moves and see money get moved about and some players come in. But the draft stuff, like we talked about, there's a lot of players in this draft, especially the middle rounds, that can come in and do a job for this team.
Yeah, massive. And we've just proven, if you take the risk and move back a little bit, you can pick up some real good, real good players in good positions. Or you can, like we've done on the previous mocks as well, stick and pick up the best player available, right? So there's so many options for us available this year. It's and in fact, it helps that there's no like real sort of massive like talent There is a lot of talent, don't get me wrong, but there's no sort of like real marquee names at the top of that draft. So it's all to play for, ladies and gents. Looking forward to next week to carry on the defense because, we all love defense here. So got that one to look forward to it. Thanks to everyone watching and listening for your comments this evening. As usual, we appreciate you all getting involved. My thanks as ever go to Shane and to Kev.
One more thing, man.
Go on.
We got a new episode dropping tomorrow night.
Oh, my goodness! Take it away, boys. Go on.
So we've got an bonus episode dropping tomorrow. Don't worry, it's not an hour and 40 long. It's not even 40 minutes long. I think it's about 37 long. So you ain't got to stress too much. But yeah, me and Kev had the pleasure of having Ryan Dunleavy on from the New York Post last night. Like I say, we had a 35-minute interview where we went kind of back and forth on, stuff in regards to the Giants team and John Harbour coming in, stuff going into the depth for the team, draft night. And then also might have been a conversation about the Giants coming to Europe. So it's definitely worth listening to. You might get some answers in regards to some things. You might get teased about a couple of things. But that's going to be dropping at some point tomorrow. I'm not quite sure when we've got it scheduled to come out, but it will be coming out tomorrow. And really appreciate if you guys could listen to it, like it, review it, 5-star it, share it, tweet it, post it if you have to, like do whatever you want, just get it out there. I was really appreciative of Ryan taking some time out of his busy schedule. He said the last 2 weeks have been manic with free agency. Look out for that one dropping tomorrow.
Buzzing for that. Can't wait to watch it. Obviously, I couldn't make it last night, so it was over to these two boys, and I'm sure they did a fantastic job. I'm looking forward to watching it. Appreciate the love, Ryan, as well. It'd be good to have you on later on in the off season, see how get an update on how things are going. So yeah, nice. Looking forward to it. Okay, so Shane, Kev, thank you as ever. Appreciate it. We are signing off. Until next time. Let's go Giants.